Who do you trust? Think about it. Your partner? Your boss? Your best friend? Now ask yourself, how do you really know? We've all been burned. A colleague who stole your idea. A mentor who vanished. A friend who gossiped behind your back. Here's the thing, trust isn't a feeling. It's a strategy. And most of us are terrible at it. We trust too easily, or we trust no one at all. Both are deadly. Imagine this, you're leading a team through a crisis. One person seems loyal. Another seems shady. Who do you bet on? The wrong choice could sink everything. That's where ancient wisdom steps in. Sun Tzu wrote The Art of War 2,500 years ago. It's not just about battles, it's about reading humans. The I Ching, the Book of Changes, is older still. It's a guide to patterns and decisions. Together, they unlock a secret: trust is earned, tested, and never absolute. Ready to learn the art? Let's dive in. Consider the story of Guanzhong, a prime minister of the Qi state during the spring and autumn period. He was once an enemy who tried to assassinate his future lord, Duke Huan of Qi. Yet Duke Huan, advised by his mentor, chose to trust Guanzhong after a careful assessment of his abilities and character. That trust transformed Qi into a hegemon. This shows that trust isn't about past conflicts but about future potential. Similarly, in modern workplaces, a leader might hire a former competitor or someone who once challenged their ideas. The key is to evaluate their skills and intentions, not their history. Another example, during the Han Dynasty, Emperor Gaozu trusted Han Xin, a general who had defected from a rival. He gave Han Xin command of armies, and Han Xin helped unify China. But Gaozu didn't trust blindly. He kept Han Xin under surveillance and limited his power. This balance of trust and caution is vital today. Think of a startup founder who brings in a co-founder with a different background. They share a vision, but they also set clear boundaries and milestones. If the co-founder delivers, trust grows. If not, they part ways. This is the art of calculated trust. Here's the counterintuitive insight: trust is not about the other person. It's about you. Most people think trust is a gift you give. But in ancient strategy, trust is a weapon you wield. Sun Tzu said, "Know your enemy and know yourself." That applies to trust, too. You must know your own biases first. Ever noticed how you trust people who remind you of yourself? That's a trap. The I Ching warns about hexagram 23, splitting apart. It describes decay from within. When you trust based on comfort, you invite decay. The real secret? Trust is a test, not a reward. You don't give trust. You lend it. And you watch. Sun Tzu's spies were tested constantly. He'd feed them false information to see if they leaked it. If they passed, they earned more trust. If they failed, they were removed. Brutal? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. In modern leadership, this means small tests. Give someone a minor responsibility. See how they handle it. Then scale up. Trust is built in layers, not leaps. Let's look at the story of Yu Fei, a Song dynasty general whose trust in his troops was legendary. He would personally inspect their camps, share their hardships, and even tend to the wounded. But he also had a strict code: any soldier who deserted or betrayed was executed without mercy. This created a culture where trust was earned through action, not words. In a modern context, consider a manager who assigns a critical task to a new employee. They don't just hand over the keys, they set up checkpoints and feedback loops. If the employee communicates openly and meets deadlines, trust deepens. If they hide mistakes or shift blame, the manager reconsiders. This process mirrors Sun Tzu's approach: test, observe, then decide. Another example from the I Ching, hexagram 5, waiting, advises patience. You don't rush trust. You wait for evidence. In ancient China, a ruler would wait for a minister to prove loyalty over years, not days. Today, a CEO might wait for a VP to demonstrate integrity through multiple projects before sharing sensitive strategy. This patience prevents betrayal and builds solid foundations. Let's connect this to the I Ching. This ancient text is all about change and patterns. Hexagram 8 is holding together. It's about forming alliances. But here's the twist, the I Ching says true unity only happens when each person stays true to their nature. Forced trust? It crumbles. Think of a river. Water doesn't trust the banks. It flows, adapting to curves and obstacles. The banks provide structure, but the water decides its path. In leadership, trust is like that river. You don't force loyalty. You create conditions where it can grow. Sun Tzu adds, build your army's trust through rewards and punishments, but never reveal your full strategy. Trust requires transparency, but not total exposure. The I Ching hexagram 42, increase, talks about giving to gain. When you trust someone, you give them power. But you also gain their commitment. It's a cycle. Ancient Chinese generals used this. They'd share a meal with soldiers, showing humility. Then they'd demand absolute discipline. That balance, warmth and rigor, built unbreakable bonds. Today, this means being vulnerable, but not naive. Share your vision, but keep your core tactics private. Trust is a dance, not a surrender. Consider the historical example of Liu Bei, founder of the Shu Han Kingdom during the Three Kingdoms period. He was known for his humility and ability to win hearts. He once visited the hermit Zhuge Liang 3 times to persuade him to be his advisor. This showed immense trust in Zhuge Liang's potential. But Liu Bei didn't reveal all his plans at once. He gradually built the relationship, testing Zhuge Liang's advice in small matters before entrusting him with the entire kingdom's strategy. This approach mirrors the I Ching's hexagram 42, give trust incrementally, and it multiplies. In a modern setting, think of a tech startup founder who shares equity with early employees. They give ownership, but they also set vesting schedules and performance milestones. This creates commitment without blind faith. Another story, during the Tang dynasty, Emperor Taizong trusted his general Li Jing to lead a campaign against the Eastern Turks. He gave Li Jing full command but also sent a trusted eunuch to observe. Li Jing knew he was watched, so he acted with integrity. This dual approach, trust with oversight, is common in today's corporate world, where a board trusts a CEO but requires quarterly reports. The river flows, but the banks guide it. Here's a story from history. In 210 BC, China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, died. His chief eunuch, Zhao Jiao, wanted to seize power. He needed to know who he could trust among the ministers. So he devised a test. He brought a deer to court and called it a horse. Then he asked the ministers, "Is this a deer or a horse?" Those who said deer were honest, and Zhao Jiao later executed them. Those who said horse were liars, but they survived. The lesson? Power tests trust in twisted ways. Sun Tzu would call this creating a situation to reveal truth. Zhao Jiao used deception to expose loyalty. But here's the modern twist, you don't need to be that cruel. Think of a leader who asks for honest feedback. Some people sugarcoat. Some are blunt. The blunt ones might be more trustworthy, even if they are uncomfortable. The I Ching hexagram 20, contemplation, says, observe from a distance to see the truth. Watch how people act when they think no one is looking. That's the real test. In your life, pay attention to small actions. Does someone keep promises? Do they gossip? These are clues. Trust isn't built on grand gestures. It's built on consistency. Another historical example, during the Warring States period, Lord Xiangyang, a reformer in the Qin state, wanted to test the people's trust in his new laws. He placed a log at the city gate and offered a reward to anyone who moved it to another gate. No one believed him at first. When someone finally did, Zhongyang paid the reward publicly. This small act built immense trust in his word. In modern leadership, this translates to keeping small promises. If a manager promises a day off after a project, they must deliver. Broken small promises erode trust faster than big ones. The I Ching hexagram 20 also advises stepping back to observe. In ancient China, a wise ruler would often disguise himself as a commoner to hear the true sentiments of the people. Today, a leader might walk the factory floor or join a virtual coffee chat to get unfiltered feedback. These observations reveal who is genuine and who is playing politics. Consistency in small actions, like always responding to emails within 24 hours or never canceling one-on-ones, builds a reputation of reliability. That's the foundation of trust. Now, how do you apply this today? First, stop trusting everyone equally. That's naive. Sun Tzu said, all warfare is based on deception. In leadership, deception isn't about lying, it's about testing. Start with a small project. Give someone a low-stakes task. Observe how they handle it. Do they communicate? Do they blame others? The I Ching hexagram 59, dispersion, talks about breaking apart illusions. Use this to clear your vision. Second, build trust through shared risk. Ancient generals fought alongside their troops. In modern terms, don't ask your team to do what you won't do. If you want loyalty, show vulnerability. Admit a mistake. Ask for help. That creates reciprocity. Third, know when to cut ties. Sun Tzu advised, if you cannot win, do not fight. If someone repeatedly breaks trust, let them go. The I Ching hexagram 6, conflict, warns against endless strife. Sometimes, ending a relationship is the wisest move. Finally, trust yourself. The I Ching says, the wise person relies on their own judgment. You have instincts. Hone them. Practice reading people. Over time, trust becomes a skill, not a gamble. Consider the story of Cao Cao, a warlord during the Three Kingdoms period. He was known for testing his generals with false retreat orders. If a general retreated without verifying, he was punished. If they held their ground, they were rewarded. This taught his army to think critically and trust only proven signals. In a modern context, a project manager might create a simulated crisis to see how team members react. Those who panic or blame others are less trustworthy under pressure. Those who stay calm and problem solve are assets. Another example from the I Ching hexagram 59, it describes wind scattering clouds, clearing the sky. This means removing illusions. In ancient China, a ruler would hold open court where anyone could speak freely. This dispelled rumors and revealed truth. Today, a leader might hold an anonymous survey or an open forum to hear honest feedback. This clears misconceptions and builds a culture of transparency. The hexagram 6, conflict, advises that not all battles are worth fighting. If a partnership is toxic, end it. In business, this means firing a toxic employee or ending a contract with a dishonest vendor. It's painful but necessary. Finally, trust your gut. The I Ching hexagram 20, contemplation, says to observe and then act. After observing, trust your analysis. Over time, your judgment sharpens. You become a master of trust. Here's the MIC drop insight: trust is not about the other person's character. It's about your ability to adapt. Sun Tzu's final lesson: be formless. When you're rigid, trust becomes a weakness. When you're fluid, trust becomes a tool. The I Ching ends with hexagram 64, before completion. It means the journey never ends. Trust is the same. You will never have perfect certainty. And that's okay. The greatest leaders, From ancient generals to modern CEOs, don't seek perfect trust. They seek reliable patterns. They observe, test, and adjust. Think of water again. It doesn't trust the rock. It flows around it. In your life, stop asking, can I trust them? Instead, ask, how can I test them? What patterns do I see? Am I ready to adapt? That shift changes everything. You move from victim to strategist. From passive to active. From fear to clarity. So next time you face a trust decision, remember, Sun Tzu saw it, the I Ching knew it. Trust is an art. And you are the artist. Now go lead. Consider the example of Zhuge Liang himself, who after Liu Bei's death, served the young emperor with unwavering loyalty. He was trusted completely, but he never stopped proving himself. He led campaigns, wrote memorials, and mentored successors. His trust was dynamic, not static. In modern times, think of a CEO like Satya Nadella of Microsoft. He transformed the company's culture from know-it-all to learn-it-all. This required trusting employees to experiment and fail. But he also set clear metrics and boundaries. Trust was not blind, it was a framework for growth. The I Ching hexagram 64, before completion, shows a young fox crossing a river but getting its tail wet. It's a warning that the journey isn't over. Trust is the same, you'll always have new challenges. A leader might trust a team to launch a product, but they still monitor feedback and pivot if needed. This adaptability is key. Another story, during the Ming Dynasty, Admiral Zheng He led massive fleets across the Indian Ocean. He trusted his captains to navigate unknown waters, but he also had contingency plans for storms and pirates. This balance of trust and preparation is essential. In your life, trust your team to execute, but have backup plans. Trust your partner, but communicate openly. Trust yourself, but keep learning. The art of trust is a lifelong practice. Master it, and you'll lead with wisdom and strength.